Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Rowell. Alright, our Flash's Cave has set up overnight. It's nice and solid now, and today we're going to put the bottom and the top on it and also assemble the front door and hopefully paint it. I've been kind of thinking about how I wanted to paint this. Originally I was going to just waterproof it, put some wood sealant on it, but the truth is, it's going to live underneath the patio cover, so there shouldn't be exposed to a lot of rain. So I think instead, when the previous owners left the house, they left a 5-gallon bucket of the paint that they painted the house with. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the Flash's box the same color as the house, and then it'll just kind of match really well. So let's get going with this. So what I think I want to do is attach the bottom first. So I'm going to basically just glue all the way around the perimeter of the thing and get the thing positioned. And then what I'm going to do is just drive a couple screws into here, and the two in the back. And that will provide most of the support for holding the bottom on. I don't really think it's going to be a problem in terms of the glue doing its job. So I think this will be fine. And then I'm going to put some feet on the bottom of it so it stands up off the ground a little bit. If you do get any moisture under the patio cover and this thing is making contact with the ground, this is going to get all wet, it's going to get all moldy, and it's going to rot out really quick. I want this to last for a while. Alright, so I got the bottom on this thing. I'm going to let this set up it shouldn't take long. It should be 20 or 30 minutes, and this should be set up well enough that I can handle it. Like I said, I put a screw on each corner here going through that little anchor piece inside there, and that's going to provide a lot of the strength, and then the glue will hold everything together. This is that Gorilla Glue stuff that I've used before. I'm a huge fan of this stuff. I've worked with it a lot and it works pretty well. So like I said, this will set up in about 20 minutes, and then we'll flip it over and we'll put the top on. Now I usually make the pieces that are going to set over the top like this thing a little bit larger, because what I'll do is I'll go at it with a router and I'll smooth it down right to flush. And actually I think what I'm also going to do is I'm going to use a router bit and round these edges a little bit too. So that'll I think make it look nicer. And the more I think about it, the more I'm pretty certain now that I am going to actually paint it with the paint that was on the house, just to make it blend in. That'll look good. It'll cover up some of the little blemishes. There's some like lines on the wood and all that aren't that perfect. It's still a little bit difficult to get lumber. I paid a ton for this just as it is, and it still isn't really high quality lumber. So that's okay. We're going to work with what we can do here. I usually work with oak. I think this is pine or something like that. So it's going to be fine to cover up with regular paint, and I think that'll look better. Alright, so while I've been waiting for the base to set up a little bit here, what I did is I attached the door that Flash is going to be used to get in. Now, I got this nice little magnet thing here and a little metal piece up top, and the point of that being is that I can lift the door up and the magnet will hold the door up, and it's actually really hard to get it off here. So that's going to work really well. It's actually got a little piece of foam that I think I can put on this piece here that will make it a little easier. It doesn't need to quite be this strong. This thing, this magnet is supposedly capable of holding 16 pounds of weight, and this thing weighs a lot less than that. So I don't think I need quite that much force, but now we can close the door and lock her in, and now all I gotta do is just put the top on this thing. Alright, so I've got the top piece fit on. Right now it's just sitting in position, but since I wanted to actually route it to be actual fit so that there was no overlap at all on either side, I figured since I was routing, I'd route the bottom too. And so we've got the bottom smoothed off. It's starting to look pretty good. I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put the hinges on here, and let's get that all hooked up, and we'll go from there. So catch up with you in a few minutes. Alright, so here we are with the semi-finished product. I still want to go here and round the edges on all the corners with the router bit. But for the most part, the whole thing is put together. I put these little handles on the side so I can pick it up and move it around. The door works. I'm actually going to probably figure out some way to open that up so I don't have to open it up from the inside. I also want to put a knob on the top so I can open up the top and allow access into it like that. But that is sort of the finished project. Now, like I said, I want to route the corners a little bit to make them rounded, and then we're going to paint it with the same color that the house is, and then this project should be finished. So let's get going on that. Alright, so I think this thing is finally finished now. All I gotta do, I've sanded it off pretty well, and all I'm gonna do I think right now is kind of clean up a little bit in here, and we're gonna paint this thing. I'm gonna take it apart when I paint it because I don't want to get paint on all the hinges and all that, but I think it's gonna look pretty good when we're done, and I think Flash will be very comfortable here. Alright, so I got the garage kind of cleaned up. I wanted to get all the sawdust and stuff out of here because you don't want to have sawdust floating around when you're painting, because you don't want sawdust on your on what it is you're painting. So got the thing all taken apart, got the paint out here that was left over so graciously by the previous owners, and we're going to put a coat on this thing right now and get this thing looking nice. Alright, so we got the first coat on this thing. It looks actually pretty good right now. I am going to put another coat on it just to make it look nice and solid, and you can see a little bit of the wood is still shining through, so I want to definitely get that cleared out and make this look good. But we're going to let this dry for a little while, then we'll come back here maybe in an hour or so, finish this thing off. Alright, so I've got a second coat on this thing. It's starting to look pretty good. I think I'm pretty much done at this point. I'm going to let this dry a little bit, and then we'll put it back together, and this thing will be ready to go. So I'll catch up with you in a little bit, probably another hour or so. This thing should be ready to go, and we'll go from there. Alright, we've gotten this thing completely painted now. Both sides of the doors are done. Including the front door over here. Got both sides of that done. Now it's just time to put the whole thing back together and see what the final product looks like. I think this is going to look pretty cool. Alright, so we got this thing all back together. I think it looks actually pretty good. I'm happy with how it turned out. I did put the little rubber stopper thing there, and that kind of slows down, provides a little less force on the magnet, a little easier to get. A little creaky at first, but that'll kind of stretch out over time. And basically I just used like a little piece of cord inside to hold the lid up, and that seemed a pretty good way to do that. And I think this will be a good replacement for Flash's winter home. It's still really light, so I can pick it up and carry it around really easily, so she'll do well in here, and it's built in such a way that it should basically never come apart. So I think that's the end of our video today. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.